Hello again, Creating Calm Tribe. Christy back here for our second yoga class together and third time together. So today we are focusing on releasing some anxiety. So I'm really excited for today's class. You can always bring props if you prefer, and I can talk a little bit about that, but I have decided to go very minimal on props for this series. But maybe just for this anxiety class, if you have a pillow or a folded blanket, that would be great. So if you don't already have a pillow or a blanket, maybe pause this video and go grab one. Otherwise, we are going to begin in a seated pose today. So just a comfortable seat. And that always means whatever is comfortable for you. So legs maybe are in a V, maybe you're sitting on your knees, or maybe you're crisscross applesauce like I am. Good. But then what I want you to do is grow your spine nice and tall, neck grows nice and tall. And we're going to start by tuning in. So close your eyes and breathe your natural breath. Allow the breath to be passive. You're not changing it in any way. Just notice your own breath. Notice the pace at which it flows, where it enters, and see how far you can travel with it. Can you follow your breath all the way down to the pathways of your lungs? And if this is working well for you, you can easily follow your breath, then that is a great place to go when your mind wanders. If you're having a hard time following your breath, that's okay. It just takes practice. Let's take 2 more of your natural breaths. Good. Now we're going to practice a new breath. So you can open your eyes if you like. It's called the Ujjayi breathing. Some people call it the yogic breathing or oceanic breathing. So that is the audible breath that we make. This breath is very, very relaxing for your mind and your body. This is a great breath for times of stress and anxiety or it transitions. So maybe you're changing jobs or moving homes or transitioning from the couch to the car or from cooking in the kitchen all day to going to sit down. So it can be a great breath for transitions and stress and anxiety. So the way it works is you're going to breathe in and out through your nose only, and your mouth is closed. What you want to do is place the tongue to the roof of your mouth, and then you're going to imagine that your throat is slightly closed. As the tongue goes up to the mouth, it blocks our throat just slightly. And when that happens, our breath now becomes audible for the inhale and the exhale. So I'll do a couple breaths and then you guys will join me. Tongue to the roof of your mouth, throat is slightly closed. Once you get a hang of it, go ahead and close your eyes and continue that breath. Spine stays nice and tall. And final breath. Good. Now your next inhale, you're going to inhale, reach your arms up to the ceiling and stretch, reach up. And then exhale, fold forward, fold right over your seat. Wherever you might be seated, that comfortable seat, just find a fold. And we'll take 2 more breaths. And now you'll walk your hands back to your body. Good. And we'll do some bird breath next. So for bird breath, you're going to inhale, arms circle, sweep up over your head. And then exhale back down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Now this breath can be done, inhale through your nose and exhale through either mouth or nose, whichever you prefer. Let's do 2 more of these. And final one. Good. And next you're going to bring yourself to a tabletop position. So hands and knees. Good, and then we're going to go for some cows and cats. So on your inhale, you drop your belly down, lift your tail and your head. Inhale, and then exhale, curl your tail underneath and slowly wrap everything under till chin meets chest. Inhale, uncurl the tail first. And then exhale, slowly round back up to the ceiling. And 2 more of each. Inhale for cow. Exhale, cat. And 1 more. Cow. And then exhale, cat. Good. Now in your cat pose, go ahead and send your hips back to your heels for child. Your knees can be narrow or wide, whichever you prefer. And take a nice deep breath. And now I want you to walk both hands over to the right hand side. Send your hips to the left. One more breath. And then your hands go back to center. Take 1 breath here. And then walk both hands to the left. Send your seat to the right. Nice side body stretch. Last breath, and then you walk your hands back to center, and you'll pass through your tabletop, tuck your toes, lift your hips into downward facing dog. So your heels go towards the mat, hips up towards the ceiling, chest towards your thighs, and hold. Good. Now you're going to bend your knees and walk your feet up to your hands in your forward fold. Knees can be slightly bent. Maybe you shake your head yes and no a couple times each, if that feels good on your neck. Good, and then you come back to stillness, bend your knees generously and roll up to mountain, arms overhead, inhale. And then exhale and fold forward. Good. Now inhale, halfway lift, long spine, hands to the mat or your shins. And then exhale and fold forward. Then bend your knees and inhale, roll up to mountain, arms overhead. And you're going to interlace your fingers over your head, except the index finger points up. Good. Now inhale, reach up nice and tall. And then we're going to tick-tock your body. So side to side. Warming up side body. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Back up to center. Inhale, reach. And then exhale, your hands are going to come to your lower back. So hands are as if you're putting hands into a jean pockets for a supported back bend. Really firm into your feet first. Stretch your chest nice and tall. And then on your exhale, slight bend of the back. Keeping it really gentle to start. Knees are straight. And breathe. One more breath. And then you slowly come back to mountain pose. Nice. And you'll inhale, arms overhead. Interlace your fingers, this time the awkward lace. So the opposite finger in front than the one you had last time. Good. Inhale, reach your arms up, stretch nice and tall. And then exhale, side bend to the left, and we're going to hold this time. So just a really gentle side bend. Your neck is still visible if you can see yourself. Or imagine your neck being visible. Your shoulders and your hips are squared to the front of the room. One more breath. Then inhale up to center, reach arms up. And exhale, side bend to the right. Good. Again, neck is visible. Shoulders and hips to the front of the room. Inhale to lengthen. Good. One more breath. And then inhale, center. And exhale, hands to your lower back for a second supported back bend. Firm in your feet. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, back bend. A little deeper than you did last time. Two more breaths. And then you'll come back up to mountain pose. Inhale, arms overhead. You're going to interlace your fingers this time, the regular way. Good. And then you're going to stretch, reach up first. And now bring your right foot behind your left. Good. Then exhale, side bend to the left. A little deeper stretch now that that leg is crossed behind. If that does not feel good on your hips and your side, then you can always come back to the straight leg pose. One more breath here. Good. Now inhale, center. Reach up. And you're going to switch your legs. If you didn't like it, again, you can keep your legs uncrossed. But if you want a little deeper side stretch, cross the left behind the right. reach up. And then exhale, side bend. And breathe. Hips and shoulders still square. Two more breaths. Then inhale up to center. Uncross your legs. Exhale and hands come to your low back. Firm into your feet. You'll inhale, stretch up through your spine and chest, and then exhale, back bend. Final supported back bend. Now if you're well versed on back bends, feel free to take your hands below your seat to the creases of your knees if that's available to you. One more breath. And then back up to mountain. Good, and you're gonna inhale, arms overhead. And then you'll exhale, sit into your chair. If you can't float the toes up off the mat, inhale. Exhale, fold. Now inhale, halfway lift. And then send your right foot back to a warrior one. So again, 45-degree angle with the back foot, front foot to the front of the room, and hips square to the front of the room. Inhale, reach up. And exhale. Two more breaths. Good. Next inhale, really reach up. And then exhale, you're going to pivot into warrior two. So your back foot's now parallel to the short edge of your mat. Both arms go out to opposite walls and squeeze your abdomen. All the while keeping your low lunge. And two more breaths. Good. Now you'll flip your left palm up to the ceiling, reach forward, and then reach back, reverse warrior. Two more breaths. Now back to warrior two. And then you're going to cartwheel your hands down to frame your foot and send your left foot back into a downward facing dog. Then go ahead and pedal your legs out, so bend and straighten your knees. Good. And then melt in, find some stillness in your down dog. Two breaths. And then you bend your knees, walk your feet forward to a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise to mountain, arms overhead. And then exhale, sit into your chair. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, send your left foot back, warrior one. Hips to the front of the room. Back foot, 45-degree angle. Good. Inhale, reach and hold. Two more breaths. And then you'll open up warrior two. So you're going to pivot your back foot till it's parallel. Good. Squeeze your abdomen. Really make sure that you're a nice one long line from crown to tail. We don't want any of this arching in the back. Good. One more breath. And then reverse warrior, you're going to flip your right palm, reach forward, and then reach back. Two more breaths. And back to warrior two. Good, now cartwheel your hands to the mat. Downward facing dog and pedal your dog. And then find some stillness in your down dog. Mount your heels towards the mat. Hips up to the ceiling, chest towards your thighs. And hold. Two more breaths. Good. Now you're going to lift up onto your heels and you're going to bend your knees generously till knees come to the mat, wide leg, and then toes touch. Send your hips back, wide like child's pose. Forehead goes to the mat. And breathe into your low back. So really feel that expansion here for a few breaths. Two more breaths. Good. Now you're going to slowly walk your hands back up towards your body. And then you're going to take your knees together. And then you'll come to a high kneeling position. Next, we're going to go for camel pose. Camel is an advanced pose, so I'll show you the supported camel before we do the fullest expression. So, just like our supported back bends, you're going to bring your hands back as if they're in pockets behind your back. Good. And then press firmly into your knees and lift your chest on your inhale. Then exhale and lean back, just like your back bend. Now, if you're well versed in camel and you'd like to, you can reach your hands towards your heels. And another option is always to bring the heel closer by curling the toes under and then reaching back. So wherever your camel is, one more breath. And then everybody hands to your low back if they aren't already and slowly rise. Good. Now you're going to send your hips back and you're going to go into a narrow knee child's pose. Narrow knee, head towards the floor. Breathe deeply into low back. Two more breaths here. Good, and you're going to walk your hands back to your body. We'll do one more set of camel. So come into a high kneeling position once again. And your option to either bring hands to the low back for that supported camel. Then you would just inhale, lift the chest and lean back. Or option to come into full camel, bringing hands to the heels whether toes are lifted or not. Make your way into your camel pose. And two more breaths. Push your hips forward. Good. Now bring hands to your low back and slowly rise. And then this time, you're going to come back to a high kneeling position. The palms of your hands are going to go flat into the hip creases. Good. Then you'll fold over into your child's pose. So sit on your heels and then lean forward. Allow your elbows to just flop to the sides. This is called an embryo pose. Really gets a little deeper into the low back. And if you still need a little more for the low back, you can go ahead and place the crown of your head on the mat. And then breathe in your child's pose. So crown of the head can be on the mat to make this a little more stretch relief for the low back. And breathe into low back. That's very important too. Two more breaths. Good. Now you'll bring yourself back up to that kneeling position, and you're going to make your way into a seat with legs out ahead of you, nice and long. Good. And then you're going to just inhale, arms up over your head, reach up. And then exhale, fold forward, reach for your shins, your ankles, or your calves. Maybe your feet if that's accessible. A nice forward fold. Two more breaths. Now you'll walk your hands back towards your body. Good. You're going to plant your feet on the mat and scoot your body up towards the front of your mat, so the top. And then your hands are going to go behind your hamstrings, and you're just going to slowly, slowly lower yourself down using your muscles. So use those abdomen core muscles to help slowly bring you down to the mat. Good. Then once you get there, I'm going to give the option today to go ahead and leave the left knee bent, or it can stay straight for this pose. So you can either leave it bent or you can straighten it out long, whichever you prefer. If it's straightened out, then let's flex the toes towards your nose. Otherwise, it's planted on the mat, and your right leg's going to come up about 90 degrees. Once your right leg gets to 90 degrees, go ahead and grab behind your hamstring, interlace your fingers there. Now try to keep your knee straight as you can. You can have a micro bend, but as straight as you can. And then pull your leg in towards you. Now, option to stay here at the hamstring, or if you've got a little more flexibility, then you can take your hands up to your calf. And again, we want to keep the knee as straight as we can because we're trying to stretch out the hamstring. So I'd rather you be holding the hamstring and not stretching as far than having a very bent knee. Good. Breathe in and out. And in and out. One more breath. Good. Now keep your hands wherever they are, and you're going to draw your toes towards your left shoulder. So just across your body. Very, very subtle movement there. And then just hold so that your toes are right above your left shoulder. 2 more breaths. Good. Now, your foot goes back to the center, and you're going to take your left hand out to the side. I want everybody to bend your knee, but keep your leg up. Good. Then you're going to take your right hand to the inside of your right leg and open up your leg without allowing your left leg to move if possible. And just hold it in a comfortable stretch to open your hips. Two more breaths. Good. Now you're going to bring your right leg back to center. Put your foot down. And then you'll lift your left leg up. And grab behind your left hamstring. Straighten your knee as much as possible and then pull your leg in towards your chest. And if it felt good on the other side, you can bring hands up to the shin or calf. Pull in. Two more breaths. Good. Now that subtle movement of just pulling your toes across to be right above your right shoulder now. One more breath. Good. Now your left foot's going to come back to center. Right arm goes out to a T shape. And then you'll bend your left knee, but keep the leg up. And your left hand comes to the inside of your knee. Open up your leg. Good. And breathe. One more breath. Good. Then you'll bring your left leg back up to center. Put your foot down. You're going to bring that blanket you brought, or pillow, whichever it was, and it's going to go right under your chest. So right at your rib cage level is right where you want that. And then you'll lean so that your head is draped over and legs can be in any comfortable position. So maybe they're stretched wide. Maybe you're in a butterfly pose. Maybe they're out long. Maybe they're crossed. Or maybe an easy seat. Whatever feels best for you right now with your legs. Allow your shoulders to relax, become heavy. Close your eyes. Breathe long, slow, deep breaths. We'll complete our final Shavasana here. If it's uncomfortable and you prefer to remove the blanket, feel free to do so. Otherwise, you'll just stay where you are. Make any adjustments needed to make yourself comfortable. are closed, and you breathe your natural breath. And now I want you to imagine that you're walking along your very favorite beach. It's a warm spring day. The weather is perfect. It's not too hot and not too cold. And as you walk along your favorite beach, bring in some of the scenery around you. Feel the sand in between your toes with every step you take. Feel the wind blowing on your skin. As you inhale deeply, you can smell the fresh sea air. And the air is so strong that you can taste salts and seaweed on your tongue. You hear the waves washing to and from shore. And you notice as you're walking along, there's a soft sandy patch. You decide to sit down and gaze out at the water. We're approaching dusk. You're appreciating the glistening and gleaming of the sun on the water before it sets. You look out and you see the oranges and pinks and blues of the sky sunset. With every breath, you notice you're in rhythm with the waves of the ocean. You become more and more relaxed and decide to lie down in the soft sandy patch. Your body sinks into the sand and you stay here for a few moments. And now you wiggle your fingers and your toes. Rock your head from side to side. And then roll on to one side. And you're going to hug your knees in. Thank yourself for making it to class today. And then when you're ready, slowly bring yourself to a comfortable seat, eyes closed as able. And next you'll inhale, arms overhead, palms meet. And then reverse your palms, and with intention, press the air around you away. You're pressing out all worry, making space for positivity and love. And if you like, hands can come to heart center. Thank you all for joining me today and allowing me to be your guide. I honor and appreciate the light inside of you.